G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildcard. I told you Wales is going to win this one. Wales at home is a different animal, and sure enough, Wales has drastically improved from the game last week and putting a really excellent team, Scottish team, on notice, beating them by 3 points, 20 points to 17. Huge turnaround for Wales, and yeah, this is a big upset. This is a big upset for Wales, and there's quite a few interesting things came out of this game, I thought. So not only that Wales had a huge improvement from last week, but Wales actually got better as the game developed, and they seemed to adapt it to the Scottish strategy, and it was able to slowly but surely outplay the Scottish team. In two fronts. One, at the breakdown. The Wales team was really able to pile on the pressure at the breakdown, forcing a lot of penalties in the second half, getting Wales out of trouble, getting Wales in that position to win the game. Huge effort by the Welsh forward pack. That was a game that was won by the Welsh forwards, especially the loose forwards. Secondly, the kicking game as well. The first half, the Scottish team was able to really kind of comfortably beating Wales in the kicking game, especially with the Finn Russell, with Stuart Hogg as an extra option. Wales were just kind of like on the defense, on the kicking game, and also almost looked like Wales was scared to play the kicking game, and as a result, Wales was opting to a lot of running, attacking game. Second half, Wales looked way more comfortable in what they were doing and starting to figure out the Scottish strategy and starting to do that kicking game, and was able to, really put on a show against the Scottish kicking game and shutting down a lot of the Scottish kicking options on the field as well. So, huge improvement, and again, for the Welsh defense. Last week, the Welsh defense was awful. And this week as well, the Welsh defense looked like it was going to be an issue at the start. The first about 10-20 minutes, the Welsh defense looked shaky as Scotland was putting a lot of pressure. But throughout the game, the defense starts to improve. Right at the end of the game, the Wales defense was so good, the Scottish attack was going backwards. Okay? Just to give you an idea, at the start, the Wales defense was all over the place, Scotland going forward at will. At the end, the Welsh defense was pushing Scotland backwards. That's how much they actually improved throughout the duration of the game. And also the attack pattern for the Welsh team looked a lot better as well. In the first half, the Welsh attack was a little bit flat, just pretty basic, like one-off balls. Everyone was standing pretty flat. Second half, much more depth, much more attacking, much more smoother attacking. Dan Biggar's game has lifted a lot as well. He seems to have a bit of a knee injury, and that didn't really hamper him a lot. And he had a really good, much better performance this week than the last week. And also his performance seems to have got better throughout the game as well, which was really good for the Welsh team. Liam Williams, excellent at fullback once again. He was, able to diffuse that kicking game. We knew going into the game that he was going to be under a lot of pressure for that fullback position, and just really handled a lot of pressure. Did a bit of flick pass in the fullback position when he's under a bit of pressure. And also the most important part for his game, probably the biggest contribution for him, is that 50-22 kick from him. Absolutely outplayed the Scottish team, and that was the turning point in the first half where Wales were able to turn the scoreboard around after falling behind. Second half, there was a big moment where Wales was piling on a lot of pressure on the Scottish team, and the Scottish, the pressure really cracked on the Scotland. Finn Russell went for an illegal intercept, knocked the ball on forward, got yellow carded, and Wales, I thought this could have been a poor decision. Scoreboard was 17 points to 7. The Scottish team was giving away a lot of penalties at the breakdown, and then immediately Showman, the Scottish prop, was caught offside. So Wales had a full-on penalty. Dan Biggar gets the ball, slots in a drop goal. I thought that was going to be a decision that's gonna come back and hurt Wales. There was a camera shot of Wayne Pivac's reaction, and Pivac was just looking down, looking dejected, shaking his head a little bit. And I was shocked. I was shocked that he took the drop goal after getting a full-on penalty advantage with a play in the bin. Sure enough, that did not backfire, and that was the 3-point difference that Wales held on to win the game. Excellent defense for the Welsh team. The Scotland team, on the other hand, another excellent performance. And this week, they just truly got outplayed a little bit by Wales, especially in the second half. The penalty count really got them, but overall, the performance from Scotland was an excellent effort overall. So a few things that Scotland was able to do really well. Excellent defense once again. The Welsh attack was just looking like running to brick wall for most of the game. Even in the second half, when Scotland had a one per play in the bin, it didn't even look like it was making much any difference in their superb defensive lineup. They also had a really good upper hand in the kicking game in the start, but as a result of the kicking, there was one thing that they didn't do as well as they did last week against England, is following up those kicks with pressure. Duhan van der Merwe was almost non-existent in this game. I think he touched the ball once in the first half, and he did not touch the ball again for the entire duration of the game. So a lot of those kicks last week where Merwe was able to put on a lot of pressure, this week he was not able to do any of that. So a lot of those kicking from Wales, from Scotland team, was just not pressured by the follow-up. So it really kind of hurt them a lot in that area. And like I said, kind of like last week, some of the key players like Scottish team, especially van der Merwe, is really important for the Scottish team to win their game. And Merwe this week had a really, I guess, a poor game in that sense. I wasn't really involved at all in the game overall. But in the end of the game, it was the pressure that really kind of got onto Scotland a little bit. And the penalty count at the breakdown especially started piling up. At halftime, the penalty count was literally identical. In fact, Wales was behind 6 penalty to 5. Second half, the penalty count ballooned for Scotland. So we can have a look at the stats here. It went up from, so Scotland had 5 penalties at halftime, went up to 13. Now Wales only considered 2 penalties in the second half. So huge turnaround for the Welsh side, and the game could not be closer. 20 points to 17, 466 wrong meters to 463, like literally identical carries, almost identical turnovers conceded. This is a big part where Scotland kind of fell apart. 6 turnovers to 11 at the breakdown. Really something that the forward pack from the Wales team lifted in the second half, was able to make that difference. Turnover at halftime was 2-5. So Wales only had 2 turnovers conceded at halftime. 2 turnovers at halftime, 5 for Scotland, and that just ballooned for Scotland against Scotland in the second half. The turnovers conceded stats, and also the overall everything. The set pieces has been pretty clinical from both teams. But that yellow card we thought was going to hurt Scotland quite a bit more. But Scotland, their excellent defense, was able to hold on. That drop goal turned out to be the difference from Dan Biggar and did not come back. And I was sweating for Wales. I thought that drop goal could have hurt Wales, where they could have taken the opportunity for a try or even getting a second yellow card. But that was not the case. So happy days for the Welsh fans around the world. Let's go through the overall kind of like breakdown of the game very quickly and just get through some of the key points. So right off the start of the game, for the first 10 minutes, it was split back and forth, and Scotland seems to be a little bit stronger in terms of attack, and Welsh defense looking a bit shaky. But Wales was, with the limited opportunity they had, was able to get 2 penalties in under 10 minutes, and Wales were able to get 6 points on the ball right away. And there was some built the foundation for the Wales attack. Confidence, not attack, for the Wales confidence. So the nerves settled down a little bit more once Wales kind of slaughtered those 2 penalties, and everyone started to look like a little bit more instructive. Structure starting to building a little bit. And also, this was following last week. They were not able to score except for 1 try against Ireland. So getting those 2 kicks on the ball was really important for Wales for that confidence booster. However, Scotland was able to turn up the heat on around the 11th minute, building a lot of confidence. And they were putting a lot of pressure on with the Welsh side inside the Welsh 22. Just a little ball behind for Finn Russell on a bit of a loop. He spots Graham. What's his name? What's his first name? Darcy Graham. So he spots Darcy Graham on the wing, 1-on-1 against Louis Zamet, and throws the ball, big long pass to him. And this was looking like, again, last week, Louis Zamet's tackling percentage was pretty poor in the Welsh team. Probably I think it was the worst. If maybe Biggar had worse defensive stats. But again, he was on the wing 1-on-1 against Graham's. Had plenty of space, had about 5-6 meters to work with, and Graham just like powered through him for a try. I thought that was a technique issue for his tackling. He went too high on Graham's. At that point, I was like, hopefully he lifts up for the rest of the game, because that was not going to be good enough to win the game with tackles like that from Louis Zamet. But yeah, that was the only one he kind of like had a bad tackle with for the remainder of the game. I did not notice that his tackling was as bad as that one. Maybe I have to check the stats later this week. But that was a pretty bad tackle from Zamet, leading to a Scottish try into the corner. The Finn Russell could not convert this one. 6 points to 5. Few minutes later, Wales gets caught offside from their own clearance kick right in front. Another penalty opportunity. So Finn Russell converts this one, kicks this one. 6 points to 8. Scotland puts ahead. 7 minutes later, on the 27th minute, there was not a penalty of the breakdown against Wales. Another 3 points for Scotland. 9 points to 14. 27 minutes in. And then at that point, things starting to kind of like go downhill for Wales, and Wales needed to kind of like turn things around. Sure enough, the fullback, Liam Williams, gets the ball, kicks a beautiful 50-22, puts Wales inside the Scottish half for pretty much like the first attacking opportunity inside the Scottish 22 for Wales. And that was a huge moment for Wales. A number of penalties following that, leading to Scotland getting a warning for repeated penalties, and Wales capitalizing on the warning, opts for another 5-meter line out, and this time they managed to put on the maul. The maul kind of like splits up. The Wales prop gets the ball at the back. Francis goes in for the Welsh first try on the 31st minute, and this was a huge turnaround for Wales. Levels the score 14 points to 14 after spending most of the first half kind of like on the back foot. And that was a huge turnaround. Dan Biggar wasn't able to stop this. Halftime score, 14 points to 14. The stats were extremely similar. Run meters at halftime, 238 to 228 for Wales, slightly ahead. Tackle count, 73 to 79. Wales missed 13 tackles out of 73, whereas Scotland only missed 7 out of 79 completed tackles. Second half, the two teams comes out. And Wales starting to look more comfortable in the second half, noticeably, especially with the kicking game. After that 50-22, I guess, gave a lot of confidence to Wales. In the first half, Wales would just almost look too afraid to kick. They try to run the ball out of their own 22 at times. So second half, the kicking game seems a lot better. But it was the Scottish team who were able to get an opportunity to score the first strike, getting a penalty inside the Welsh half. 14 points to 17, Scotland puts ahead 49 minutes into the second half. And on the 56th minute, the Wales starting to really pile on the pressure and starting to neutralize the kicking game a lot more. Scottish team find themselves offside. Wales gets a return 3 points, 17 points to 17, 56th minute. And then on the 65th minute, the game is starting to kind of even up a bit more. Wales really starting to turn the game around. Gets a huge penalty that was 45 meters out on 15 meters in from the sidelines. A really big kick for Dan Biggar. And Biggar has, for the whole game, had a bit of a knee knock, so he was holding his knee quite a bit. So everyone was wondering if he's going to get this one. He kicks this, hits the post, and I think it was Tim Basham, recovers the ball for Wales from this huge kick, right? It was just unbelievable. He managed to recover the ball. Suddenly, Scotland is inside their own 22 under huge amount of pressure. Wales is attacking. They saw some space out wide. I think there was a advantage in there somewhere. They see this Wales saw the space out to the left. They try to spread the ball out wide. Finn Russell knocks the ball down one-handed, gets yellow card to send off. And that was huge. And at this point, I thought Wales surely would have to score a try here. So Wales, again, start piling more. Another 5-meter line out. Scotland gets penalised again. Wales went for a second 5-meter line out. At this time, the ball comes back out. Wales look a bit scrappy, look a bit out of shape. But Scotland was penalised again for offside. Showman, the prop, was penalised again. Full-on penalty. Dan Biggar gets the ball, decides to slot a drop goal. And I thought this was a huge mistake. In fact, this was a bad decision, but luckily, this decision did not turn back to hurt Wales. There was like I said, there was a camera shot of Wayne Pivac. He was just like dejected after this. Like, I guess the camera was expecting him to be like clapping or something, cheering. No, I was shocked that he took a drop goal here, because this could have been a second yellow card. You know, repeated penalties inside your own 5-meter line. Showman offside, full-on penalty. You already got a guaranteed 3. Easy, should have just taken the opportunity to put him on pressure. But Dan Biggar says he wanted the 3, gets the drop goal, 20 points to 17. And there was about, one play, and there was about, at this point, still 15 minutes left, with about, 8 minutes left on the yellow card, right? Scotland, despite having one player in the bin, was able to really pile on pressure on Wales. And it really didn't look like they were missing one person at all, despite Finn Russell being in the bin. 10 minutes quickly went by. Wales was not able to get any advantage out of the one play in the bin. And then this was, I was starting to worry for Wales. Is Scotland, with Finn Russell coming back with 2 minutes left, is Scotland going to get back in front foot? Luckily for Wales, on about 2 minutes left or so, gets a huge penalty turnover at the halfway point, and that was able to put Wales all the way into the Scottish 5-meter line, essentially. Dan Biggar put this huge kick. It went out just out, around the 5-meter line from the 50 all the way out on the 5-meter line for the Welsh line out for this penalty. And luckily, somehow Wales loses the maul from this penalty. So Scotland had one last opportunity to score a try. Basically, have to run the full length of the field. There was a point where when the Scottish team turned the ball over, they kind of like ran the ball. Tim Basham looked like he put a shoulder charge on the ball carrier. Should have been a yellow card. And the Australian referee, Nick Berry, the best Australian referee of the year, winning the award. I kid you not, he's the Australian referee of the year last year, despite all that Rassie Erasmus controversy. He was named Australian referee of the year. Says that there was no force in the headshot, and therefore no yellow card. This could have been huge if there was a yellow card with less than a minute left for Scotland to work with against one person in the bin. But no yellow card. Scotland tries one last attempt to attack, running the ball out from their own half, but the Welsh defense was really good, pushing Scotland backwards with their defense, and eventually again, Wales able to turn the ball around at the breakdown penalty, and that was it. 20 points to 17. Huge turnaround for the Welsh team from last week, and a huge win for the Wales team as well. And if you're a Welsh fan, you must be happy. I told you, Wales at home is a different animal, and they proved it once again this week with a huge upset. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I'm going to have to go watch Ireland play now. Like, comment, and subscribe. Really do appreciate you being here. And thanks for watching. Cheers.